Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Hook. I work for Flying Fish. We are the leading provider of professional instructional courses in snow and water sports. Got a stand here today, so please do come over and see us. This next segment is about working as a water sports professional. And for that, I'd like to introduce both Anna, who works in HR at Neilson Holidays, and Sam, who is out on the water and can give you a perspective of what it's like to work in the industry. So, guys, if you'd like to come up.
So to start off with, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how it all started for me, and that was back in 2001, at the end of school, before I went off to uni. I'd already been doing a bit of windsurfing, a bit of water sports, sort of as my time had gone on, and I really wanted to be an instructor. Thought it might be something I could do on my university holidays, might be something I can do as a long-term career, or might be something I could do just sort of here and there around Poole where I lived. So I went off to Vasiliki in Greece, where I got trained up to be an instructor. Was there for about 5 weeks in total, did a bit of building on sort of my personal skills, and then went through the course. What I didn't realise then was actually that was going to be pretty much what I was going to be doing for the next 9 years. So it wasn't the initial plan, but it sort of just carried on after that. First time I came to a university holiday, wasn't sure what to do. So I went down to my local beach and I applied as a windsurf instructor, just working down in Poole. After that, in 2003, I applied with Neilson and they sent me off to Betez in Turkey, where I got placed windsurf instructor for the season. And that was really different because rather than just being off going to a job every day and coming 9 till 5, that was away for 3 months, all my accommodation included, teaching all day, every day on the water, getting stuck in, having a lovely old time. And that progressed. I stayed in Turkey for a few years. And when I went to Autokent in Turkey after a couple of years, they asked me, would I like to run the centre? So as I came off the sort of end of that university period, I've been away for a couple of summers, a few bits and pieces, and when I thought that was it, and I was going to go into what we like to call the real world, actually I got offered a job running a centre. In the winters, I wasn't too sure what to do, so even though I trained just as a windsurfing instructor, being part of that company actually had a few options to go off and do other bits and pieces during the winter. So it actually led me into some work as a ski rep for a couple of years. And then after being an instructor, so teaching all day, every day, windsurfing, a bit of dinghy sailing as well, and then running a centre, I got sort of packed off to Greece, just off the Turkish coast, to open a new centre, which actually pulled out a few random skills that I didn't think I'd ever use really. Something I was in charge of, building a bit of a hotel, building some activity stuff, getting a load of staff in, looking after about 50 staff, looking after all sorts of different pieces, budgets, the whole shebang. But the nice thing about it was in a warm location, I was in the sea every day, and I was still getting to teach a bit of windsurfing at the time. And over the last couple of years, where I've been based mostly is out in Egypt. No sharks at the moment, so they were for a little bit. But I've been out there effectively running a centre, but also moving into instructor training. So all those years with Neilson, although you can stay on that quite horizontal level and just be an instructor for as long as you like and just teach windsurfing, it's been great for me because I've actually managed to sort of work my way through the ranks and can make a bit more of a career out of it. A few bits that came up along the way. See, I'm sort of standing here. I've just come back from 14 months out in Egypt, where I've been sort of teaching windsurfing, looking after that centre. But a few other things outside of Neilson have come up along that time. Worked a little bit for Boards Magazine, testing windsurfing kit, so got to go off to some other nice warm locations. And now I'm actually working back in the UK, doing bits of work for Neilson, but also working as part of on-board development, which is hopefully pushing windsurfing and sailing, sort of the youth for today really. That's in Dorset where I work at the moment, it's with the RWA. I'm now freelance, I'm working for myself. So at the moment, those are the people I've done some work for. Doing quite a bit of work for Neilson, doing a bit of work for On Board, as well as a few centres around the south and around the country. But again, all of that came from that initial becoming a windsurfing instructor back in 2001. So it all started with a windsurfing instructor qualification. So effectively that meant I could sign people off to basically go through their level 1 or their start windsurfing. An 8-hour course, 2 days. When I worked for Neilson, we taught it over the week, trying to incorporate into a bit of a holiday. We'd have people all morning and all afternoon trying to progress them from never having done anything before up to the point where they came away with a certificate, which meant they could rent kit, hire kit, go out and buy it, and stay into windsurfing for a little bit longer. I then became an intermediate windsurfing instructor. Again, that was off my own back, so I did that in the UK. But after I'd done that, that meant I could actually go and work a bit more with Neilson and different companies overseas and stuff. Now, once I was working as that instructor with Neilson, effectively they started pushing me through the rest of my qualifications. So all my cost on that initial course, effectively I haven't really had to spend anything since, because the companies I've worked for, they've put me through it. So I became a senior instructor. Again, Neilson paid for that. They put me through that course, which was great, and that meant that I was allowed to run a centre, so they'd leave me in charge. Again, they needed some advanced instructors, and because I'd worked with them for a couple of years, it meant I'd go off and I did that advanced instructor qualification, meaning I could teach those slightly higher levels. And as needs came through, I then got to a stage where I could go back and teach people to be instructors. So a couple of years ago, I ran my first course, which was the same course I'd gone back on in 2001, which is quite a strange event. And now I can actually train most of those levels. So all the courses there, I'm now actually allowed to go away and run, whether that be for Neilson, for people like Flying Fish, or in the UK. Now, the nice thing about it is, after I'd done that initial kind of instructor course and that initial instructor qualification, because I was keen to progress, stay in the industry and keep pushing my way through, actually Neilson and the other companies I work with, they were keen to push me in that direction and kind of get me off and away. So my experience then, it's not all kind of standing on a beach in shallow warm water, kind of like cruising around with people in kind of shorts and bikinis. I've done a few bits and pieces as well. Most of my time, and it's the thing I love doing, and I'd rather be doing most of the time, is with Neilson or other people, it's instructing, coaching and teaching. So instructing, that's actually on the water, on the simulator, getting people stuck into the sport that I love. The coaching side, that might be with those guys progressing them further, but also with other people that I work with from the staff side. And the teaching side, again, it all kind of encompasses that, loads of experience of suddenly being put in front of a group of people and looking after them from the week. Customer service experience, from being a ski rep to being a person in a resort, looking after a centre, answering those questions, trying to meet new people every week. Centre worked in range from 50 people a week, so you're meeting 50 new people a week, up to 340 people a week, when you're meeting loads of new faces and trying to meet their expectations and deliver exactly what it is that they want. Further qualifications, it was great. I paid quite a bit to kind of get through that first bit, but it actually put me in a really strong position to carry on through the industry. And the further qualifications, I picked those up along the way, either doing in-house training or being pushed into going away to do those qualifications. Practical skills, when I first went away on the season, didn't really know the right end from a hammer. A couple of years later, I was suddenly in a resort where we're building racks, building things for activities. It was all a bit of a shock, really. But again, that was all on-the-job training that I picked up as I went along. And suddenly finance management. Although my personal finances don't always do too well, suddenly be given sort of, £250,000 to go build a centre was a bit of a shock, really. But you've got the support there, you've got the people to help you work through. And it's given me some pretty valuable experience sort of coming back to the UK and going into the wider world. And working with teams. The thing I've loved most about working for Neilson and working overseas is, living, working, socialising with that group of people kind of day in, day out, really. And, some of my best friends have been made from doing that. But also, I've learned some pretty interesting skills in terms of, looking after groups of people. I started off in a team of 10 people, and, as it progressed, I've looked after teams of 10, I've looked after teams of 50, or I've been within that team of 50, really. A nice thing as well, again, kind of working for that, that brand there, that sort of Neilson logo, is actually that team goes all the way back to the UK. So having people like Anna that give us support from the UK as well, and sort of being within that has been fantastic. So that's pretty much it from me, really. Just sort of to recap on that, it all started with almost a 5-day course, with a bit of kind of build up towards it, get me into the right frame of mind, build those skills so I was going to get through that course. So I was out there for about 5 or 6 weeks in total. And after I'd done that, actually that gave me the license to get work at home, down my local water sports centre, go overseas. And as it's progressed through, it now means I can make a bit of a career out of it, which is one of the things I never, ever really expected to do as a recreational windsurfer. Now I'm going to pass you over to Anna, and she's going to tell you pretty much a bit more about that.
Right, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of overview about Neilson. So if you are qualified instructors already, you could potentially go on to work for Neilson and maybe follow a career path like Sam has done. So Neilson is divided into 2 different types of product, our Neilson Hot and our Neilson Cold product. So here are the different locations that we visit. So as you can see, we've got 4 different locations that we visit for our hot product, and then quite a few more for the cold season as well. So that's 16 different countries and 81 resorts in total across the hot and the cold product. So a little bit more about hot. We divide these into 3 categories. First one is the Neilson Beach Club. And this is where we ask a hoteler if we can run a water sports centre alongside their hotel, and we run activities there: windsurfing, dinghy sailing and mountain biking. And we have these centres in Greece, Egypt and Kenya. These tend to be the centres where guests come and have a dedicated holiday to either windsurfing, mountain biking or dinghy sailing. They don't necessarily have to be proficient at the sport, but they have decided that they want to go on holiday to learn that sport for that week. So as an instructor, you tend to have a group of guests for the entire week. A few pictures here. It's out in Dahab. That's the fat-faced mountain bike team training out in Greece. Okay, so our second product is the flotilla concept. So from a guest point of view, you can come away on a holiday with Neilson on flotilla. If you're an experienced yacht sailor, then you can go out on flot with maybe 6 to 12 yachts cruising around for the week. Or if you haven't got that experience, then you can do a stay and sail holiday where you spend the first week on land learning the necessary skills to go out and then go on flotilla for your second week. So from a recruitment point of view, we have to staff the full yacht programme. So we look for skippers, yacht trainers, mates and also mechanics or engineers. And then thirdly, we've got our Beach Plus product. This product has really taken off for us over the last couple of years, and this is where we run an entire hotel and also have a much wider variety of activities both on the water and on land, so a list of those there. And then again, in terms of recruitment, we obviously need to recruit everybody to fill those job roles. So everybody from chefs through to bar waiting staff, right the way through to all the instructors, fitness instructors, tennis coaches as well. That's out in Lesbos. So we now have 8 Beach Plus hotels in total, 4 in Greece and 4 out in Turkey. Oh, I've missed one off there because we have one that is brand new. We've literally just signed it out in Turkey and Marmaris, so that's quite exciting for this year. That one's Civita. Okay, so here is the list of hot job roles that we recruit for the summer and currently recruiting for at the moment. So a little bit of an overview about the coal product as well. Not something that we're currently recruiting for, but obviously going on into the summer, we start recruiting for that in June or July time. So a little bit of an overview for you. We visit 13 different countries and have a wide variety of different accommodation for our guests to choose from. And we provide skiing and snowboarding for all different levels. We don't actually recruit instructors for the winter season, so that's a bit of a difference from summer to winter. That's outsourced separately, but the main job roles that we recruit for are ski reps and chalet hosts. Future opportunities with Neilson. So as I mentioned there, we have summer and winter opportunities available, so potentially work all year round. There's normally a little bit of a gap in November time where people finish their summer season before they head off for winter, but it normally rolls on quite nicely. Another opportunity is we always look to promote internally. As Sam mentioned previously, he's worked his way up from a water sports instructor all the way up to an activities manager. And all our activities managers either started as children's club staff or water sports instructors, as did our overseas and managing directors as well. So the benefits. Working for Neilson, if you are successful at your interview, you'd be offered a fixed term contract of employment. You would get training prior to the start of the season included and ongoing throughout as well. You get use of all the kit that's available in all the resorts, which is a really great perk to have. So on your days off or free mornings and things, then you get use of all the kit for free. Insurance, because we're actually part of Thomas Cook, we're covered by Thomas Cook Insurance. So you'll be covered for any medical or dental emergency and your personal belongings as well. We get you to and from resort, so flights are all covered as well. That's nothing additional that you need to pay out for. Accommodation is provided for you. There's no extra bills or anything like that of costs that you need to incur. The main thing to remember with accommodation is that it's always going to be on a shared basis, so you need to be prepared to share a room with somebody. Food is included in the Beach Plus resorts because we're running all the kitchens as well, so that's another additional thing that you don't need to pay anything extra for. Uniforms provided for you as well. You would need to bring your own kind of boardies and flip-flops to wear with your Neilson t-shirt, but most of that uniform is provided for you. You get 1 day off per week, and you also get the equivalent of 2 days annual leave. So it actually adds up to quite a long amount of time that you can take off on holiday. If you're doing a full season right the way from April through to November, you get about 2 weeks off, which you can spend as you will. It's entirely up to you what you do on your holiday. You also accrue bonus as well. So throughout the season, you accrue £15 per week, which is paid to you at the end of the season, providing you complete your contract and don't do anything silly that would warrant disciplinaries or anything like that. There's also career opportunities within Neilson as a whole and Thomas Cook as a brand as well. Holiday concessions for your family and friends. So if they want to come out and visit you whilst you're on holiday, then they can do that at a discounted price. You also get holiday concessions as well. So once you've done one full season with Neilson, you can then get 50% off a Neilson or Thomas Cook holiday, and then the more seasons you do, the more concessions you accrue as well. And we pay you as well. The salary structure is quite complex, so I can't give out salaries right here because each different role is very different in terms of the salary. How to apply. Consider which job role you'd be most suitable for, so think about the previous skills and experience that you've had, and check out the job descriptions on our website, and then you need to complete an online application form via the Neilson website. Your application form is then assessed, and if you're successful, then you'd be invited for interview. And that is the end.
Sam, Anna, thank you very much indeed. That was really informative, and I kind of see why I did that job years ago, because it still gives me excitement and goosebumps looking at the pictures and seeing what fun it is to do that job. I think just for Anna, maybe we'll put some questions out if you want. I'd be interested to know, you talk about a cold season and the hot season products. Is there a right time to approach you for interviews or those sort of things?
Yeah, certainly. For the hot product, if you like, we start looking at applications probably about November time. We are due to go on a recruitment roadshow next week, actually, so over kind of November, December and the start of January, we're looking at all the applications. That doesn't mean to say that you can't apply now, because the recruitment will be ongoing throughout right up until the season starts, and then potentially during the season as well, if we have to replace people that drop out for whatever reason. But the best time to apply for the hot season is start of November to get in there nice and early. And then for the cold, it's going to be about June, July time that we'll start looking at applications for people to start at the end of November.
And Sam, we don't want to leave you out.
Yeah.
Basically, obviously, you've had a great career path through working with Neilson.
Yeah.
Is there opportunity, if you were maybe multi-skilled before you went into a company, to get better opportunities at work? Or
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those, like, the more things you bring in, the better you're going to start off, really. So I was quite lucky. I mean, I went in very much down one route, but then actually it probably took me a little bit longer to get where I wanted to be because I only had one qualification. If I had, 2 qualifications, 3 qualifications, actually you're going to be a lot more competitive when you're going for that initial job role. And also there's going to be a lot more flexibility about where you can get placed because your skills can be used over a bit of a wider range of resorts rather than just in one. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Have we got any questions at all in the audience? Yes, Andrew.
Thanks. It's a question we get asked a lot, actually. There seems to be a lot of water sports instructors who would love to work in the winter, and working for a company like yourselves where you actually offer winter season work and summer season work. How does it actually work for them? Do they apply for their winter job whilst they're working in the summer, or do they finish the season and then apply, but isn't that too late? That's the sort of question we always get asked.
Exactly. Particularly if you're already working for Neilson, then we certainly give priority to the people that are working for us already. So if you're working a summer season and want to do the winter, then we will accept internal applications from the summer staff before we then go out to recruit externally. So yeah, definitely priority, again, from season to season. So if you work a summer with Neilson and want to do the following summer as well, then we automatically offer our staff, if they've had a good season, a position for the following season again. So.
And just following on from that, do you have many examples of people that effectively are working continuously for you, doing summer, winter, summer, winter?
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
what sort of numbers of people might be doing that?
Numbers of people, I'd say probably about, I think it's roughly about 50-60% of our summer staff work, then go on to work in the winter, and then probably summer to summer, it's normally about 70% of our staff are retained from year on year.
And how many years can they keep doing that? I mean, is there a limit, or do you
There's
just...
not a limit. I'd say if people if people don't want to focus on progressing up the ladder, then I'd say there's normally about a 3-year season turnaround. People kind of...
I think, so I mean, I've done a 7-year stint, so I mean, sort of summer, winter all the way through, but then a lot of people over that period normally going to do sort of two or three if they're going to, just do a bit overseas and then go back. But yeah, so it's 2 or 3 really, isn't it? 2 or 3, unless they're looking to progress up, then obviously a lot more.
All right, thanks very much, it's very helpful.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed. It's been really informative, and as I say, it's an exciting industry to work in. Neilson's a great company to work for, and as Sam said, it all started with one course right back at the beginning, learning to be a windsurf instructor. So, if you want more information about learning how to become the instructor in the first place, come and see us at Flying Fish. If you want to learn more about Neilson, go and see them on the stand, or both of us have got websites. So thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you very much.